we're here with Jerrica Steger and Melissa Turn of Pericles, of Shakespeare's in the Park, Pericles. Hi.
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 Thanks for coming in. Full disclosure, I'm directing and I'm part of Telluride Theatre, but I'm going to ask you guys questions. I really want you to answer from the heart. I'm not going to correct you or anything like that.
No pressure. Okay.
No pressure. So first off, actually, what we like to do is ask sort of like how you came about this thing. Now, of course, Melissa, you do not live in Telluride, but you have been doing this for many years. It's almost a second home to you.
Yes. Yeah. So this is my 8th year working with Telluride Theatre. Started out with the Squid Show and now with Telluride Theatre. So, and I gave someone directions today, so I feel like that makes me.
So you're all set.
I'm pretty much. I live here now.
You're in it. So Melissa, just real quick, I mean, what's changed over those 8 years, I guess, in terms of working with a company like this, and also like you used to work with much larger companies and still do in LA and in New York and those kind of things. So what's it like to sort of come here and work with a back in the woods company?
I mean, what I think is really great is that despite the size of the company, the mission is really the same, and that everybody is really excited and committed to bring the best show possible. And I think it's really fun that people are willing to try things and take risks and put themselves out there. And bring the community into it, which is why I like to come back year after year. So
nice. Well, we really appreciate it.
Well, thanks.
Jerrica, you grew up here, or at least partly here.
Yes.
A Texas girl originally.
Texas girl.
And then the family moved here. Was it high school or middle school, high school?
I was in 4th grade when we moved
Fourth grade,
here.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So from 4th grade on, you've been interested in acting,
Correct.
right? And performing. You've been in many of the school plays.
Yes.
And now you're in college for it.
Yes, I am.
Tell the folks where you are, what you're doing, those kind of things.
So I go to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Hollywood, California. And it's a 2-year program. It's very challenging, but the most fun I've ever had. So it's awesome. I mean, there's all these people who are just like you, who are coming together to create magic, and it's amazing.
And why acting? Why not directing or writing? Or I mean, I'm sure you may be doing all those kind of things, but what is it? I mean, you've been doing it for so long.
Right. When I'm on a stage, it's an opportunity for me to share my story, even though I might not be saying the exact words of my past or whatever, but it's a chance for me to express myself in other ways that I haven't been able to before. And so it's just like once those lights are on, I'm like, I can be me. And it's incredible.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Pericles. Okay. So, because you've been in how many Telluride Theatre productions?
This is my 4th one.
Your 4th one. And you've been in how many Shakespeare's? 2?
This is my 2nd Shakespeare.
Your 2nd Shakespeare. Okay. And Melissa, you have done a ton of Shakespeare over your career.
Yeah.
So talk to me about Pericles as a show. People don't know that much about it. So tell me a little bit about what you think the show is about, per se, and what it's been like to work on the show.
Well, Pericles is how we're doing it. It's a group of people telling a story in a bar. And that's really it. I mean, yeah, it's a story. That's all this is.
Yeah, I think what is interesting about Pericles is there is a character of a narrator. So it's a story being told about a story being told, which is a really cool sort of framing device and really unusual for Shakespeare. And so I think it's just a cool opportunity to like take a stab at this play that is not seen very much. So
Yeah, we do unique versions, I guess, of Shakespeare, but I mean, it's not necessarily like we're modernizing them just for the sake of modernizing them. It's about sort of the audience, I guess, being able to better understand them and sort of go on that same journey that maybe audiences in Shakespeare's time would have gone on. Are there favorite parts in this one? I mean, we're almost there. We're in the final week here. But are there favorite parts that you're either playing or dealing with as a costumer or just as a as a co-director, I would say, at this point?
I mean, what's exciting to me about this year is that there's so many things being incorporated. We have some music, there's some dancing, there's, again, this sort of like framing device of being in the bar, which is really fun. And I think that it's exciting for an audience when they can maybe look on stage and see like, oh, that's me or someone I know, and that's cool. And especially in a community where you know all the actors up on stage, it's fun to also see yourself up there as well. So.
And in Shakespeare's time, that would have been actually very similar. They would have not only known the actors because he was working with a company, but also he's writing in these lower class characters or these working class characters to all of his plays, so that people can sort of like, it's not just for the rich people.
Right.
You know? It's not just for the upper class. Jerrica?
I love when it's the full cast scenes, when we all come together and it's like we're working as it's like an amoeba almost, and we're all one, and like we're all different people in it, but we come together as one, and it's so beautiful.
There are several scenes, I guess, in this one that are like that. I guess because we wanted to kind of had this idea that everybody was together and telling the story all the time. Melissa, if you don't mind me asking, what is it like to be a costumer? Because you are often in rehearsal commenting on actors in the sense of like that world being weird or foreign to you, even though you understand it. What is it like to sort of costume these things? And I mean, you could talk about other productions as well that you've done here.
I think what is, as I said, I started out working with you guys doing Squid Show, and there was for that, it was a lot of things that we were sort of building as we went. And I don't really think that doing Shakespeare now is so much of a departure from that, because there's so many people that are putting in ideas and thoughts and trying things out. And it's cool to sort of like be in that collaborative room. And I think that's unusual, especially in the world of TV or film. Usually you stay in your own lane quite a bit. So this is just a nice opportunity, I think, for me to get to sort of like, I don't know, venture out of my lane.
And the concept for Pericles is very different, right?
Yeah, I would say that that it's a lot more modern. It has, we have some kind of weird.
People are doubling roles.
People
They're
are doubling roles.
But the costume is not changing that much.
Right, but the costumes are just sort of adjusting for characters, which I think is really cool. And so it just puts a little bit of creativity in how we use the clothes on stage as well, which I think can be really fun. And we're trying some stuff, and we're seeing what works and what doesn't, and it's exciting to watch it all unfold. So
cool. Well, you'll be here halfway through the run, so people can ask you about them if they want. Jerrica, real quick, you play a role, which is a pretty important role in the show, called Marina, who is the daughter of Pericles, and she gets sort of ripped away from him when she's very young. So what is that like in terms of like the particular character? Have you played a character like this before? What is it? What are your like windows into this?
When I first got the role and I was reading through it, I was like, okay, this is, like, I can play this. This is fine. And then I'd realize like how deep I have to go into it. I mean, she goes through this incredible journey of, loss and, I mean, all kinds of things that happen to her that are just terrible. And so really digging deep into this character, it's a challenge, but it's amazing. And I'm honored to play it. But yeah, being Marina, it's a lot of fun.
You're taken by pirates, or you're dropped off with like sort of an aunt and uncle.
Yep.
Right. One of them betrays you. Then you're taken by pirates. Then you end up in a brothel trying to like fend for yourself. So there's a lot of like.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the more unique things maybe about Pericles is that actually half the show is really sort of about Pericles and half the show is really about you in a continuation. So we have that sort of like fathers and children kind of thing, Well, I guess people are just going to have to get out there and see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's starting this Saturday, the 21st, and goes all the way through the 29th, and you can get tickets on TellurideTheatre.org. Ladies, thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you also for helping us make the play.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.